Madison Square Garden, the mecca of boxing. A venue that has witnessed legendary bouts and iconic matchups throughout history. And in this upcoming fight on June 10th, we find ourselves transported back to the present day, where two former undisputed champions in Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez prepare to battle it out in the ring. The significance of this event lies not only in the venue, but also the personal journeys of these fighters, who could very much be at a crossroads in terms of where their career could go from here. The reason I'm acknowledging the historical significance of Madison Square Garden, a place that has seen countless of epic battles. Another Scottish undisputed champion, Ken Buchanan, faced numerous Latin American fighters, triumphing over many of them, but ultimately falling short against the legendary Roberto Duran. The legacy of the past sets the stage for another Scot crossing the pond for a modern day clash between Taylor and Lopez, both seeking to leave their mark in this historic arena and prove who really is the real deal. So on that note, let's get right into it. In 2023, we find Josh Taylor, the undefeated former undisputed champion, in need of redemption after a lackluster performance against Jack Catterall, and a fight which the decision should have gone the other way. However, while a rematch seemed like a logical step, fate intervened with injuries and an unexpected opportunity emerging. A chance to fight Teofimo Lopez at MSG, just as his boxing idol Buchanan had done in the past. Taylor has also teamed up with Liverpool-based trainer Joe McNally, who's been doing a great job with the likes of Liam Smith, and it'll be interesting to see how he develops under him. But what can we expect from Josh Taylor? Well, being a Scot myself, I've followed Taylor from the very beginning and been to a few of his fights, and although I rate him highly, I must admit he possesses some flaws that he must be careful of. However, it's precisely these imperfections that make Taylor an intriguing fighter to watch. One of his key strengths lies in his adept use of the lead hand, a weapon that could exploit Teofimo's vulnerabilities. Taylor has the ability to neutralise the opponent's lead hand using feints, jabs, to mainly disrupt the rhythm and open up opportunities for his own combinations. And against Teofimo Lopez, a fighter who thrives off a more counterpunching role and has been employing his Philly shell stance with a lower lead hand while coming forward, and that could quite easily play into Taylor's hands. This was evident in Teofimo's fight versus Sandor Martin. Lopez was repeatedly caught over the top with the jabs due to his lower lead hand, and while Lopez possesses offensive firepower, he can sometimes leave openings in his defense when he throws powerful shots, and opponents who can time their counters effectively can take advantage of these defensive lapses and land more significant punches on him. We've seen in fights like Kambosos or even Martin that he can get caught rushing in trying to stamp his authority, as he gets frustrated very easily. The southpaw Martin was able to use the lead right check hook on Teo rushing in, while Kambosos used a big right hand counter after Teofimo Lopez threw a lazy lead hand. Taylor is also inept at using the high guard to tempt his opponents to throw punches before he slips the jab or right hand from his southpaw stance and countering back with a return left hand counter. And he's actually very good at mixing this up each time, as he likes to go up top or even to the body. And I suspect this will be something he'll be looking to catch Teo with. Another area I'm interested to see is what distance Taylor will want the fight at. We obviously saw Teo struggle against Martin, who likes to fight from distance and on the outside, where Taylor is known to constantly change the distance from a long to mid to up close on the inside. And I suspect he will want to see if the power of Teofimo is enough to stop him from fighting at up close range. Taylor for me is the superior inside fighter and body puncher who likes to throw in volume on the inside and make it an uncomfortable experience. And I suspect Taylor will look to fight on the inside at some point to see if Teo can compete with him here. As once again, this is where Josh Taylor is using this to disrupt the opponent's rhythm and make them open up to throw on the inside, so he can connect himself to any openings that occur. Now, as much as I think this is a good tactic to employ counter-punching and also test Teo's heart, Lopez is still a huge puncher, who, if he connects, can cause some serious damage. And although I think Taylor has the upper hand in this area, Teo can be fantastic at counter-punching himself, so you'll need to be careful. So for me, Taylor really needs to maintain the distance and control the pace. Taylor can be very hard to get to due to his lateral movement, and by staying out the outside, Taylor can frustrate Lopez and limit his opportunities to launch effective counterattacks. Taylor also generally likes to fight at quite a fast pace at times, and although this might prove effective versus Lopez, it could also give his competitor a chance to fight at a high pace, to which might prove dangerous as well. So while Taylor should be aggressive in his offensive output, he must also remain defensively disciplined in my opinion, and focus on maintaining a tighter high guard, looking to slip punches, utilising head movement to avoid unnecessary damage from Lopez's counters. By staying defensively sound and keeping at range, I believe Taylor can neutralise Lopez's power and frustrate him in his attempts to find openings. Lopez, who has called himself the Takeover, gained his recognition after defeating the former pound-for-pound star Lomachenko. However, his plan for a takeover hasn't gone as smoothly after his loss to Kambosos Jr. and that narrow decision victory over Martin. Even after this fight, he started to question himself. And maybe it's all the personal things that have been going on with Teofimo Lopez, while he also has said some outrageous statements recently about his promoter and even Josh Taylor. You can't help but feel the environment of the people around him, and in particular his trainer dad, who, let's be honest, can give Teo some very conflicting advice when in the ring.
Time, take your time. Bro, the right hand is working. Finish him already. Alright?
Now for me, this is all real shame, as I actually used to really enjoy Teo coming up through the ranks and showing off his incredible skills and talent. However, it's clear since the opposition has stepped up for Teofimo Lopez, he just can't punch his way out of fights, or use a counter-punching style while trying to be an aggressive puncher is just not going to work. However, I can't deny that Teo has incredible quick hands and punching power, which can turn the tide of a fight, and the boy certainly has the heart for me, but I feel like he needs better coaching from a far more experienced trainer that can give him the right advice. But what does Lopez have to do to win this fight against Taylor? Well, I think it has the potential to be a really tough night for him if he doesn't keep his head. Otherwise, he will simply walk into the same punches the southpaw Martin was landing on him. The lower lead hand position of Teo coming forward made it too easy a target to connect on him, and it would be great to see him use the lead hand from a higher position to not only create setups for the right hand, but also to neutralise Taylor's lead hand from throwing that right hook. While instead, it would be great to see Teofimo throw the lead left hook over the top of the southpaw jab, as one of his best weapons he's used throughout his career is timing that gazelle jab, which can be unpredictable in nature and devastating if timed correctly. Teofimo is skilled at delivering body punches as well, which could be a strategic area to focus on in order to decrease Taylor's mobility and weaken his defense. This could create opportunities for Teofimo to use his more powerful punches up top later in the fight. Taylor can also get into bad habits of admiring his work sometimes and stay in the pocket for too long, allowing his opponents to land their own punches on him. And once again, I feel that this would be a good time for Teo to try and land those big body shots on Taylor. And I guess that leads me on to Taylor's other big weakness. He can sometimes get too drawn into an unnecessary battle on the inside, which can lead to inconsistent defense from himself. While Taylor has shown solid defensive skills at times, he's also been caught up with clean shots on the inside. And for me, if Taylor fails to maintain the tight guard and slips into a defensive lapse, Lopez can exploit those moments to land significant punches just like he did with Lomachenko, especially with the right uppercut or counter right hand, and if he lands hard and cleanly, could be lights out. For me, this is a fight about who can keep their composure. Both men can be hotheads at times for different reasons, and the setup of Madison Square Garden, another historic battleground that has witnessed triumphs and heartbreaks of countless boxing legends, could once again bear witness to an exciting clash that could very much ruin the other's career. Josh Taylor is seeking for redemption against a lackluster performance in his last fight, and steps in the ring with a burning desire to prove his worth. His use of the lead hand and ability to change and control range and pace of the fight could be crucial to get the victory over Teo. And Lopez is a fighter driven by the need to reclaim his mojo as well and silence his critics. And with his counter-punching and explosive power, anything can happen in the fight. and he needs to have a solid game plan like he did versus Lomachenko if he wishes to win this fight. However, since his defeat to Kambosos Jr., there are questions about his ability to withstand sustained pressure and maintain his composure in what seems to be a chaotic and unsure mind at times. Regardless of who you think will win, I think this is a great bout for fight fans and what has been a terrific year so far. And will it live up to the hype both men promise? We will find out on June 10th. This has been Jamie from Boxing Life. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the fight. Who do you think will come out victorious? I'd love to know. Enjoy the fight when it comes. And as always guys, I'll see you in the next one.